أهلا وسهلا. أنا مش مريض والدي كويس وأدرس في بيتي. Subscribe so that you don't have to check my Snapchat and Instagram whenever I post a new video. You can get a notification instantly from YouTube. I've been trying to make this video within the past 7 days of me being sick. I need to clear up a few things. I'm not at a beach. That's the wind on the trees, not the waves. But when I had this post breaking of a fever, my brain still felt like butter that was melting and I couldn't think straight. Like, it was a very delusional state, and that's kind of what this video is about. And me explaining it now, I think I most definitely have my critical thinking head back. I haven't been outside in days because I've been trapped with the fever. So I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to talk about how we got here today. We as in me, and how I got to this spot today. When I was in the midst of having a fever, on the news they were saying, don't go to the hospitals, don't go to the hospitals. So we kind of like wrote it out for a little bit to see if it was manageable, to see if we can like kind of cure or break the fever on our own. And in this time frame, like where I am, there's no testing available. You have to be like critically ill and have failed the test for influenza and fail the test for pneumonia, and then they test it. And at that point, it's kind of too late because there's no cure for it, and it just goes down this dark path. And here I am sitting with 102 fever, and my entire body aches. And I call my healthcare provider, and I can't get tested in Richmond, Virginia, the city that I'm in. Yet I'm seeing on Twitter, Idris Elba, NBA players who have zero symptoms, they can get tested. Regardless of the reasons why some people who appear to be wealthier than others can have easier access to test without necessarily having been in contact with someone with a confirmed case. Just speaking off of experience, that was driving me crazy. So insane. That on top of actually having this burning fever, I was becoming very delusional, having these hallucinations. We've been there. If you remember my 48 hours without sleeping video, very similar to that. Like, I know how it feels like. It's hard for me to differentiate between daydreaming and hallucinations and fever dreams, which are real. You can Google them. Fever dreams are really awful. Just kind of all like meshing together, and you probably saw some erratic behavior on my social media platforms because that was real and authentic. At least like authentic as in what I was feeling, but not authentic as in what was actually happening. It was just very like disconnect between feeling normal and what was going on. I left straight from Syracuse to come back home. I did have a panic attack at the airport. I attempted to explain this. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was like less than a week ago. It was Saturday. I flew in and I was very productive. I was the only person in the entire airport, or at least my plane, that had gloves. People are nasty. They don't care. No, they're not wearing face masks. I literally had a panic attack going through the security because they asked me to take off my face mask. I said no, and then this girl came over to me and she was like, I know you're lying to me. And then I looked at her in the eye and I said, I'm having a panic attack right now. And then I started crying so much. This guy ran over and he was like, what can we do for you? And I'm like, they're not letting me with this past the security. And then he said, oh, I'll take it. He takes it. He puts a in this dirty bin, and I explained to him that I walked with hand sanitizer from before the security check-in all the way to put in my bin, and he needs to get his own chemicals to clean it, and not just mine, but clean everyone else's. In other words, like, I was wearing this sweatshirt actually. At the time, I did have a shirt underneath it. The lady in the security was like, you need to take that off. I also had a scarf. She was just really going off on me. I began to have a panic attack. I was crying because I'm trying not to get infected during this virus. There was no mechanism that they were using to clean the bins that were going through security. I brought my own hand sanitizer to put onto the bins. I had none left, so that's why I was freaking out. I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is a pandemic. Like, why are you not cleaning the bins? The guy who called me down, he personally cleaned my own bin, but he was not doing it for everyone else's. And at that point, like, I wasn't advocating for everyone else because they were staring at me like I was really crazy. So I just worried about myself, went through security, and then got home, and then the fevers progressively got worse. Went to the doctors, and they diagnosed me with having a bacterial sinus infection. It kind of put me at ease because I don't have respiratory issues. They did swab like the back of my like nostrils and everything. They tested for what they could. Remote parts of New Mexico, the governor has authorized private testing labs to have drive-through testing. That's what's saving this country. Other states are not doing that. It's not a political debate. Regardless of like who the president is, like everyone who lives in a state should be confident in their governor. There should be a backup of state power. And that's what it really comes down to in the United States. That depends on where you're living, how you personally have voted, because that impacts you directly. It's a really great lesson for everyone. So it's kind of like, where do I go now? My source grant let us know that even during this pandemic, our research cannot be behind schedule. I've waited and delayed the queue so that I can portray what I'm trying to communicate in the best way possible. I want to thank my brother for bringing me the green teas and
fresh squeezed orange juice with a hint of kale infused inside of it.
thank you. So this is my Lilly Pulitzer cup, and that means I'm back at home. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'm gonna just plug this in really quickly. My cousins in Italy have been in lockdown for a very long time, and they've just started to infiltrate the Italian trap scene. You know, yes, trap music has been along for a very long time, but it's really new in Italy, and given this time, they've kind of like, everyone's been on lockdown, and it's kind of like a setback for them. So definitely check out their music videos, click on their videos. Thanks, and have a safe day.